My teen dating experience began at a very young age.
There was a boy, and I was in middle school.
And right when I saw her, I knew, I'm gonna date that girl.
He was very nice. He would compliment me. He said that he really liked me.
He was mysterious.
We met and fell in love all within a matter of 2 weeks, and things kind of started.
Instant gut feeling that she was not good for me. I didn't listen to that gut feeling, and that was where it first went wrong.
He started controlling me and telling me what I could wear and what I couldn't wear.
You need to text me at all times. I need to know where you're at all times.
It began to be emotionally and mentally manipulative.
He would start asking me if I could use my friend's phone to send him nude pictures.
I will tell my girlfriend, oh, that's good. He's jealous, right? That means he really likes me.
She degraded me with names. Why are you being such a Why are you being such a Pretty soon you start believing that about yourself. And so then I began to act that way. I began to let her walk all over me.
Day after day, he constantly asked me, can we have intercourse? Can we have intercourse? Can we have sex? And I said no, no.
It really felt as if being controlled meant that he loved me. I thought that that's just how relationships were supposed to be.
You're not smart enough. You will never make it in life. You will end up just like your mother, cleaning houses. He knew how to put me down.
He proceeded to throw me down on the ground again, and he put his forearm across my throat and spit in my face.
Get off of me. I don't want this. He put all of his body weight on me and just finished his job. He had just finished raping me.
I don't know. It's just you find yourself in the situation and you don't even realize how bad it is.
I thought that stereotypically that the men were the abusers and the women were the victims, but I never thought about teens. I never thought about young people. I felt stuck. I felt like I didn't have a voice.
Statistically speaking, 1 out of every 4 students, teenagers, is being physically beaten by their boyfriend or girlfriend. It is such a hidden epidemic that the victim herself or himself will not speak to anybody about it, especially a parent. Lawrence House started a program for teens where we go to local middle schools, high schools, colleges, and universities, and we educate these students on what are the red flags to look for in an abuser.
Our HEART program is funded through the Verizon HopeLine grant, and we were able to revamp our website. We have digital postcards that you can send to your friends anonymously. We have testimonials, music, podcasts, and resources.
The HopeLine is Verizon's program to help victims of domestic violence. Residents from anywhere across the country can come to a Verizon wireless store, donate their phone. We use the proceeds to give grants of cash, phones, and free airtime to domestic violence organizations. Since 2001, we have donated more than 10 million phones to shelters and more than $18 million in grants to domestic violence agencies.
I'm a whole lot better than I was. I realized that I am a survivor and I've taken a bad situation and I've turned it into something empowering. I'm no longer afraid to keep my story secluded. I'm just an advocate now.
I will tell other girls that are going through the same situation to speak up, to not be afraid, that they're not the only ones going through this.
No relationship should ever require you to sacrifice your dignity or your self-respect or your friends or the things that you enjoy doing.
Don't be so desperate to be loved by somebody that you'll sit with someone who feeds you crumbs of love.
Speak up.
Speak up.
Speak up.
Speak up.
Speak up.
Speak up.
Hi, I'm Maria Quiban, and thanks for joining us today in our show. This is our Verizon HopeLine phone drive, and also to bring more awareness to teen dating violence. So thanks for joining us today in our YouTube live event. Well, sort of live. I know if you're watching this after, but we're actually taping the show. We have some really special guests that are joining me today. Here we've got a survivor, a teen survivor. This is Kayla.
Hello.
We also have our teen advocate from one of the shelters. This is Marissa.
Hi, everyone.
And also we have our own YouTube star, AJ Raphael. You may have seen him, you may have heard him sing, and we also have some other special guests that we want you to stay with us here throughout the hour as we continue to talk about teen dating violence, which I was astounded and shocked recently when I heard these numbers that 1 in 4 teens today is in an abusive relationship, which is shocking. And what I'm hearing is that this is what's being reported. So it could be more than 1 in 4. And we're going to go over some of those numbers a little bit later. But first, I want to tell you that stick around, because at the end of the show, we are also going to be giving away a really cool tech gift. This is the Kyocera Hydro Elite, which is a really cool phone because it can go in water and you can basically do whatever you want with it, and it can still live. So it's a really neat phone from Verizon, and of course we want to thank Verizon, who is sponsoring this event. We are here at a Verizon store. Verizon has been an integral part of raising awareness for domestic violence, and they help fund through you. So we are encouraging you to donate your old phones, your old devices to any Verizon store, or go to their website, and they actually are going to send you these bags here, the HopeLine bags, and for free, and you stick your old devices in here, and then they will in turn donate and recycle these items for these shelters. So we're going to talk about teen dating violence, and I mentioned our survivor here, Kayla. Kayla, we saw a little bit of your story in that video that just aired, and I want to ask you, how long did it take for you before you actually told somebody about what happened to you?
Yeah, it was actually started in 7th grade when I was around 12 years old, and it just kind of continued on until like 9th grade, middle of 9th grade year. And so it was actually a really long time of manipulation, and yeah, it's just a really long time of like a bunch of warning signs going on.
I want to know, when did you tell your mom? And why didn't you tell her sooner? Because this is a problem for many teens, right?
Yeah, I didn't tell my parents. Well, they actually knew what was going on most of the time, but they were doing as much as they could. But even with that amount of them trying to help me get out of it, it still was going on. And but I think it took me it took me a while to like
Was it just because you were ashamed or you were afraid of maybe going to them?
Yeah, I think I was, a little bit ashamed. I didn't want to believe that I was being in an abusive relationship, and I didn't want to believe it, and I was kind of embarrassed to talk to my parents about it too, and I was kind of afraid that, the reaction was going to be a negative reaction.
But once you told them, it actually was a big relief, right? Because they supported you 100%.
Yeah, they supported me a lot throughout the entire process of everything, and they were just trying to help me. So.
And I want to ask Marissa this question: Why is it hard for teens to tell someone?
Oh, there's so many reasons. We can start off with the reason maybe a teenage girl might not tell is because she might have sent some nude photos of herself to her boyfriend to prove her love. So now there's that threat. She might not tell her parents because, like you said, shame, embarrassment. Also, they might be afraid of losing some privileges. They also do not want to disappoint the parents. And the major reason why kids don't tell is fear. Fear of what others will think, what others will say, fear of not being popular anymore, fear of being bullied, not believed. For example, Kayla, not only was she bullied after she told, she was persecuted at her high school. People robbed her, stole from her, picked on her, called her horrible names, and that was for Kayla every day on a regular basis. Wow. Just for telling that something that horrible was done to her. and she ended up having to leave her school. So you see all of those reasons. That's why kids won't tell. They might even not even tell their best friend.
What are the signs of, that you can look for as a teen that your boyfriend or girlfriend is bad? Because let's face it, this crosses all socioeconomic boundaries. It happens to boys and girls.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
So what are the signs now that we could look for?
That's a great question. I'll give you a couple of signs. Even on the first date, you can tell the red flags. They're called red flags for a reason. So the key is to recognize the red flag. What does it look like? Then tell yourself, okay, I recognized it. Now I have to act. One red flag to look for in your abuser is, on your date, how does he treat the service personnel? How does she treat the service personnel? Are they rude to the waitress, the busboy, the cashier? That's one red flag. Another red flag is if they grew up in a violent home, if they grew up in a home where there's yelling and screaming and cussing and cursing, they grew up in domestic violence, that's also a red flag. Also, how do they treat others just in general? What are their views on women? Do they belittle women? Are they sexist? Are they homophobic? Are they racist? Those are red flags. Another red flag to look for is, do they use drugs or alcohol, maybe as a form to escape from what is going on at home? One thing that you should be asking your partner on the first date is, hey, tell me something about your mother. And they're going to be like, what? I don't want to talk about my mother, but tell me something about your mama. And their reaction might be, hey, my mom's my shiro, I love her. Or they might say, oh, she gets on my nerves, she's such a nag.
That's a sign.
Absolutely, that's a sign.
Yeah.
How do they treat their sisters if they have sisters? Right. Look, listen, guys, if you are a guy and you date women, and she hates men because men have abused her in the past, she's gonna most likely hate you too.
And it's interesting because I was talking to AJ about this, and I want to bring you in because you had mentioned to me that you were dating someone that...
she was previously in it.
Yeah, tell me about your dating experience.
That was tough because I hadn't known anyone before who had gone through that, really, that I knew of, and she told me her story of her getting beaten by her ex-boyfriend. Of course, that made me really mad.
Wow.
And I didn't really know how to deal with it. I was just like, do you still talk to him? And she did, which is really weird for me to wrap my head around, how are you guys still in contact and stuff? That really boggles me. And we actually ended up having a lot of problems over it because I didn't really know how to deal with it.
So that's a really good point. So Marissa, how do we help them? What can we do for them? Like, let's say AJ is going out with someone who's gone through that. What could he do to kind of help her?
I recommend that you don't date somebody who just recently went through that because there's a lot of trauma.
Yes.
We have to heal, and one of the best ways to heal is to do talk therapy.
Be your friend.
Yeah,
right?
talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Tell somebody that this was done to you. It's not something that happened to her. It was something that was done to her. So being able to tell somebody, a professional, not just a lover or a friend, a boyfriend, a partner, but somebody who's a professional who can give you the tools to heal. And education. Why did I, number one, allow this individual to enter into my life and not pay attention to the red flags? Maybe I didn't know the red flags. And why did I not leave sooner? Fear, pressure, religious pressure, embarrassment, shame. And heal and educate. That's the key to help somebody. Offer them resources. Be there for them without blaming them. If, for example, I'll give you guys an example. When, can I talk about Rihanna and Chris Brown?
Yes, sure.
Okay, that's a real, that even though it happened in February of 2009, we can still talk about it now because it's something that's happening all of the time to hundreds of students, but nobody talks about it. If Rihanna was beaten by a stranger, not her boyfriend, Chris Brown, then the reaction would have been different.
Completely different.
Absolutely.
Completely different.
Her managers would have probably bought every billboard in Hollywood Boulevard with the likeness of the perpetrator.
Yes.
Her friends, his supporters, Chris Brown's supporters, would have probably put up a reward money for the capture of this guy that just beat up his girlfriend. But no, it was Rihanna in an intimate relationship with this man, so nobody cared.
And they continue to stay in this relationship
yes.
despite what happened. Kayla, did you break up, or did you sever all the ties with this person after what happened?
Actually, we weren't in like a real relationship. It was kind of like a thing, and then I was like, well, now I'm not really sure that I want to be around you anymore. Now I'm kind of getting the feeling that you are just using me. I was looking for a relationship, and he's like, oh, then I'll date you. And then we started dating for a little bit, in which it broke it off, because I started catching him with other people, like my best friends. And I was like, but it just kind of continued because I just couldn't get over this person. I thought I loved this person.
How are you now? How are you after all of that? Yes, you obviously went through some counseling, and you're still, now you become an advocate for it as well, yes?
Yeah, so now I'm an advocate, and now that I've been able to get away from, all of the people that I used to know, and, from the abuser, now that I'm able to get some free space in order to, think clearly, I've realized that I'm able to take that into control and kind of empower myself, and now I'm able to go around and help, teenagers, people of all ages now. I'm able to help them if they're going through the same situation I was. So I'm really happy that I get to, go on a deeper level with these people and be able to relate with them and understand how they're feeling.
Well, I want to thank you for really being so courageous. You are inspiration to many, many teenagers out there, and really thank you so much. And I hope that if you're watching, know that you are not alone. It happens to so many, and you need to just speak up.
Yeah.
Know the signs, and I hope the show can help you recognize that sign. Kayla, thank you so much for sharing your story. I do want to ask Marissa now about a place where they can go to find help. They can go to your website.
Absolutely,
right?
and we actually have a website designed just for teens. And there's so many pages. Not only is it designed specifically for teens, but we've also created pages for parents, teachers, administrators, and friends. And on this website that was funded by the HopeLine grant through Verizon, they can really get deep into what is dating abuse, what does it look like, what are the red flags, how can you help a friend, and the resources available for these individuals.
And also, too, I want to make a note on your website. And you fear that your abuser is nearby and you don't want to get caught. There is this button that you can click this button, and it will immediately take you out of that website.
Yep, so nobody will know that you visited that site. And the reason that we do that, Maria, is because the most important thing about an abusive relationship as a friend or family member is to try to keep that individual safe. Because one thing that we've learned about domestic violence and dating abuse is that it will escalate. It always does. And it doesn't start off with a punch or a kick. It never does. It always starts off with a word. It could be a simple word like shut up. Who asked you? Stop your whining.
Because it's a control issue.
Absolutely. Kayla just mentioned, that she feels she's in control now because her abuser, was taking all the control from her. And what am I going to control? If I was dating AJ and I was the abuser, I would control his appearance, who he talks to, where you go, how long you're going to be, who's going to be there, who were you talking to, let me see your phone. Are you cheating on me? So I need to control, I have to go as far as controlling his emotions. For example, no, really, I mean, right? But this is how real it is.
Yeah.
AJ,
now where do you learn how do you say? Obviously, you have parents that they are your role models, right? So you have learned to treat a girl.
Well, it's mostly
a certain way.
Actually, I have two younger sisters, one older half sister, and my dad actually passed away when I was 10. So I've been around women a long time. I had to be the man of the house. You know what I mean? A lot of my respect for women obviously comes from my mom.
Absolutely.
She's the strongest person that I know, and she's had to deal with so much. She's been widowed twice.
Wow.
And she works nights, just to take care of the family. So, Filipinos very family oriented.
Yes, I know.
You know what I'm talking about?
I'm non-Filipino. Yes, that's right.
So-
My mom still calls me up and tells me when to go to bed.
Yeah,
When to
right,
go to
right.
bed.
Did
I
you-
eat
did you eat
dinner?
yet?
Yeah. Did I eat
So,
breakfast?
you know, and my mom's just so caring, and
Yeah.
and that's definitely.
Yeah, I know, parenting. I want to bring in our next guest. This is Kayli Butler. You know, hey Kayli. Hey
Kayli.
Kayli's huge YouTube star. I love you. You are such an inspiration. She's a great mom, talking about great parents. No, seriously, congratulations. She just announced that she was pregnant.
Oh, congratulations. Yay.
Yes,
Baby.
and how old are your other two?
I have a little girl that is 9 and a little boy that is 5.5.
How are you feeling, by the way?
You know, I've been really sick with this one.
Aw.
But hopefully it's gonna get better from here.
This might be a girl. We'll wait and see. The last time I was with Kayli, we had a discussion about this. And how did you feel when I told you those stats that 1 in 4 teens today is in this abusive relationship?
My heart dropped. Like I can't even believe this because I haven't had much experience with this. I didn't have friends that experienced this or that I knew of, and so it's heartbreaking.
And you said the word that you didn't know of. And part of this whole thing, and part of the reason why
That's
we're
the
here
key.
today, is that we want you to speak up. Because these numbers are just staggering. And so I'm so glad you're here because I know that you have an audience for your channel, Hey Kayli, that are made up of really young girls.
Right.
And so I hope that they are watching and I hope that they can reach out to you, to places like Laura's house, anonymously, and find the help that they need.
Yeah,
Are
I
you
hope
thinking
so
about
too.
your
I hope
young
so
ones
too.
when they get
Yeah,
older?
I mean, just sitting here, it's terrifying to know my little girl is 9. It's not
No.
too far away that she's gonna.
Right.
I mean, she's already boy crazy.
Yeah.
You know, and
9 is not that far away.
No.
I know
It's
some
not that
9-year-olds that
far.
have, boyfriends and girlfriends,
Right,
quote unquote.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really scary. I'm hoping. I mean, I'm hoping to keep a close relationship with her, but I feel like I was really close with my mom, and I still felt like I had to keep things from her.
Absolutely.
And so
That's so normal.
hard.
You know what the key is? Education. Educate your teens, your preteens, your babies about the red flags. You know, when you're watching a TV show and it just hits you in the gut that what you just saw, it ain't right. And there's a lot of man bashing on TV, okay? So that's when you do a pause and you go, you know what, by the way, son? That lady that just smacked her husband in the back of her head, that's not right. He doesn't deserve that.
Part of it, I mean, obviously it's parenting, but we're just bombarded with so much media and negative examples, right?
Yeah.
That we're reaching out to. And we, sadly we have 2 parents that are working all the time, so it's a little bit harder to keep track, but parents, you said it, check your phone, check their phones, check their online activity and see what they're up to. We have a few questions because we're actually, while we're doing the show, we're also talking to everybody on Twitter
Nice.
and on Facebook. So we do have some questions, which I'm going to grab from Sean over there in just a second. But I had one last question for Kayli, and I'm trying to remember it now. I think you rubbed off on me being pregnant.
We're all pregnant now.
I just remembered actually. But part of the reason that this was astounding to me was that when I heard that 80% of parents are unaware that their children are even in these types of relationships, or admitted that they didn't think there was a problem.
Yes.
And or admitted that they didn't know. So as parents, they are dating and they're thinking, wait a minute, no, my kids are in school, they're at soccer practice, but where are they dating?
Okay, I'll tell you.
How are they having these relationships?
It's
right?
changed so much since, like, for example, when I was dating and I was being abused or I was the abuser, you could hear me yelling across the hall. Now the abuse is happening through technology,
Yes.
through text. The texts that I have read, you guys, would blow your mind. Sometimes I'm embarrassed to be a female because of the things that a 17-year-old girl can actually write as far as threats to a boy. The abuse is happening in the hallways of our middle schools. Something as simple as in the hallway as one of these in your face, in the hallway. A push, a shove, that look, you know that look? It's the look of intimidation.
Now, would you look at your kids cell phone, their computer? Will you look and see what
Absolutely.
they're doing?
If they want to have those privileges, then they have to know that I will be
Good.
checking.
Yeah.
Good.
Absolutely.
Good.
Straight up.
Yep.
Kayli,
Straight
thanks
up.
so
I
much
agree.
for stopping
Thank
by.
you.
This is amazing. I'm so grateful that you guys are doing this.
Thank you.
Good. Well, thank you, and then I'll see you soon.
Yes,
I want to
yes.
know if it's a boy or a girl.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Okay, I want the questions because I know we have some questions. Yes, thank you, Sean. That's Sean. That's our other Monica on MonicaDucksTech.com. Okay, so this one, we want to read this question from Monica.
Thank you.
What is the best way to tell my best friend she is in a bad relationship?
Ooh, that's
Ooh,
a
that's
really
so
good
tough.
question.
Yeah?
You take it, AJ. Go.
I don't know.
Yeah? What do you think?
Being the friend and, you know.
Yeah, how do you tell
I
somebody?
actually would be straight up with them.
Yeah.
That's just me. A lot of my friends, when they're, when
You'd
they're
be like,
telling
yo,
me,
your friend, listen, you are not in a good
oh,
relationship.
totally. Even
you
if
need
it's
to get
just
out.
like cheating and
Oh
stuff,
yeah,
but,
cheating is a form of
obviously-
abuse.
Right.
It's sexual
sure,
and
of
emotional
course,
abuse.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I'd be the one to maybe say something like, yo, you need to check up on this. Like,
Okay.
yo,
Yeah.
check their
That's
phone.
awesome.
Like, for real, because a lot of my friends are like, yo, that's your boy.
Yeah.
You need to, that's their business.
That's awesome.
Especially in this, in our world.
We need a community. We need to get
Exactly.
that
It takes an
back,
entire
you know?
army
Yeah.
to save one survivor.
Exactly.
You know what? I recommend that, of course, but if you don't have AJ's personality, of course, you're not going to be like that. I recommend that you say to your friend, hey, how does it make you feel when he calls you the B word? Hey, friend, how does it
Right,
make you
little hints
feel
and stuff.
when your girlfriend does A, B, or C to you? So try to get them talking about their feelings is one good way to bring up the topic and say, I'm concerned about you. Here are some resources. That's how you just start the conversation.
And you can also anonymously send them a postcard.
Absolutely.
On
our website.
On your website.
Yeah, on our
Yeah.
Laura's House Teen website.
amazing.
And it's anonymous and you just put it all out there. If you don't know what to write, stuff has already been written for you. It's beautiful artwork that was donated.
I love this.
Me too.
I love this feature.
Me too.
On the Laura's House dot.
So it's
org.
www.laurashouse.org and then that, what's that? The slash
backslash
LH Teen.
LH-teen. And we'll put it up.
Okay,
And,
awesome.
Yeah, we'll
I'm learning a lot
feature it to
here.
everyone.
Oh, good. I'm glad. That's the
and
point.
Then you
So
can tell
good.
everybody. Someone just sat down next to me.
Hey, hi.
This is Ryan Beatty. Oh my God, Ryan.
Yay.
I'm doing great. How are you?
Thank
How
you.
is everybody?
Awesome.
Thank you. Thanks for
Okay.
joining
I've been
us.
kind of watching along the sides, and
Have you?
I have to say, you guys are doing a really great job. So hopefully, I don't ruin the
No.
vibe or whatever. on
We
this-
love that you're
this
here.
panel.
We love it. We love it. We also love, by the way, we are also hanging out with some awesome people online. We're hanging out with
Yay.
several people on our Google Plus Hangout on air. And if we can switch to them, I don't know if we can do that on here, but my really good friend, Carolyn Saab is joining us. And Carolyn, you may recognize her because Carolyn is, let me put my headphone on. Hang on for a second.
Oh, I recognize you. Hi, Carolyn. Yeah.
Carolyn was Miss America. And Carolyn, when she won the crown of Miss America, the next day the reporters came in and they said, we know about this guy that you filed a restraining order on.
Oh, wow.
And she had been in a really toxic relationship. And this was the first time, really, that we had heard about this. And I want to hear from Carolyn about your story. So go ahead and share. Oh, we lost it. Okay. Well, I know I can see you. You look so cute. We also have Ayub in the hangout, by the way.
Hi, Ayub.
Joanna and Kim Beasley. They're all in the hangout.
Yo.
So anyway, Carolyn would have probably told you that she had been going through this very abusive relationship, and I think I can share, and maybe you can answer this, Marissa. But she, I think, was in it because she thought she could fix him.
Yeah, that's like a gene that women have.
Right?
We're like the women fixers. It's like, I like you just the way you are, now change, fix this, fix that.
Yeah.
Now, look out for that, guys, because, we can't fix it for anybody.
Right.
Instead of trying to look for any partner that needs fixing, let's fix ourselves. Not that Carolyn needed fixing, but
No,
if you're
she-
searching out somebody
Yeah.
that obviously has issues, maybe we need to look inside ourselves to see why are we looking for that type of individual.
And I think she did a lot of soul searching after that.
Yeah.
To look within herself about that. I want to ask Ryan, who, how old are you now, Ryan?
I actually just turned 18. I know
Yay!
I look 12.
Right here.
Yeah. So I'm 18, and I know a lot of people might think that because of my age, I don't know, much about relationships and whatnot. But I myself, I grew up in a household. I have 4 older sisters, and so growing up, I always, saw, I learned a lot from them, even though they're girls and I'm a guy, and we like, But I learned a lot from them because I saw, what they had issues in their relationships, and I got to witness that and kind of like stand back at a young age and see kind of how to deal with all that. And so I'm very grateful that, some people always, when I tell them I have 4 older sisters, they're always like, how did you deal with that? But it was like definitely a blessing. So.
Have you ever met other people from school or, even recently, who you thought was in a real toxic relationship? Did you
absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like for my freshman and sophomore year, I went to just a regular school. For the rest of my high school, I was on, I did this online school, but, freshman and sophomore year, I did notice, and even in like 8th grade and in middle school, I did notice that there were a lot of people getting into relationships just to get into relationships, and not for the fact of they might not really like this person, but because they feel like they almost need, I feel like a lot of kids feel like they need to be in a relationship, when I don't necessarily think that you always have to be in a relationship.
You're so right.
I feel like a lot of teenagers, they see, these TV shows, and they see like these love stories and these celebrities who get in these, and it looks amazing, but really it's not as easy as it looks, and you have to be, it's like a give and take thing. And I feel like I'm not saying that just because you're young you should not be in a relationship, because clearly, you learn a lot from that. But I feel like, don't get into a relationship just because everybody else is, or because you feel the need to.
And you have plenty of time.
Yes, exactly.
And I do encourage you to, I know that I mentioned the guys in the hangout here. We got Carolyn, but we also have Joanna Hyatt, who is so in touch with teens. She goes to so many different schools and talks about healthy relationships.
Nice.
Including, kids today, like we get taught in school, here's a condom, practice safe sex. I mean, it's really, and she talks about, hey, put a condom on your heart.
Oh,
do you
that's
know
so
what I mean?
good.
It's like your heart.
I love it.
Like your heart is what you need to protect,
For sure.
right? So I encourage you to check out Joanna Hyatt's website too, because she really has some great tips for teens and talking about what a healthy relationship is. Who are your role models? You said your sisters.
Yeah, definitely. I look up to my sisters a lot, relationship-wise. I gotta learn a lot from them. My parents as well, I'd have to say, they have been married for like 33 years or something like that. And maybe I got that wrong, 32 or something like that.
You're close.
Yeah, close enough, hopefully. But they are a really good example of that. And just because a relationship might also get hard sometimes, they really try, both of them. If clearly in relationships, it's not always going to be fun and games.
Exactly.
There's always going to be fights and whatnot. But my parents are great examples of like they really they want to love each other. So.
What about you? Are you dating?
I'm not dating anybody right now.
Good,
No?
Good.
But I feel like
if you were, what kind of person would you what are the qualities that you look for?
I absolutely love the type of girls who are really just super down to earth and those that like really appreciate the little the little things like just hanging out and whether we go to I love going to see movies or doing the simple things. I'm trying to have fun, but also find somebody who I can just really be friends with as well. It's not supposed to be like this, just somebody I can make out with or whatever. It's a real friendship, in a relationship. So that's what I look for personally.
That is so cool. I just want to get a little bit an update with Ryan because I haven't seen you in a while.
It's been a
What are
bit.
you doing now?
So-
You're traveling around the world, right? Every time I look at your Twitter.
I'm working on an album right now. That's going really, really great. I just got back from London. I was working on it out there with these really great producers. And just always writing. That's
Nice.
like what I absolutely love to do. I always write all the time, whether it be at home or whatever. And doing a lot of shows. I love doing live shows. It's my favorite. So.
And then my last question for you is, what kind of advice would you give, boy or girl, who's watching now, and they are suspecting they're in this relationship that's not going really well? Like, what would you tell them?
Don't be afraid to talk to other people about it. Like, I know sometimes you might feel like you shouldn't go to your parents about if you're in a relationship and you're having troubles with it. Like, don't be afraid to talk to them about it, because I know like sometimes, I mean for me it's kind of hard for me to say because in growing up being in like having like girlfriends here and there, like I never wanted to talk to my parents about it at all. I was like,
I
don't blame you.
But they could be so incredibly helpful, and talk to friends, talk to whoever you're comfortable with. But don't bottle in those feelings, because that is not a good thing to do.
Such great advice. You're so wise. Ever since I first met you, I don't know how many years that was, but you really are so wise.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you for joining.
Oh, no problem.
It's great advice. Speak up, you guys. Don't hold it in. Just tell someone. That's what we want you to take away from this. Tell someone. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
For sure.
And I'm going to check you out. I think you're going to be touring here. Aren't you?
Yeah,
Do you have a
I'm
show
going on
coming up in
tour very
November?
soon. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Should be fun. Yeah, you should come.
Check it out. Thank you.
No problem.
Now, someone else just joined us. Speaking of traveling all over the world. Chris Thompson just joined us, you guys. Look, there's Chris. Sup, Ricky?
Yeah.
That's the YouTube address, right?
You can actually, now it's just Chris Thompson.
Chris Thompson.
YouTube.com/Chris Thompson.
That's awesome.
I know.
That's awesome.
Easier to remember.
Yeah, and talk about the fans that go gaga crazy over her. I mean, I just have watched your channel grow, and your Twitter just goes bonkers whenever you say, talk to me now, talk to me now. Anyway, so you heard a little bit about our conversation.
Yeah.
And we're talking about teen dating abuse and the numbers that are just staggering, that 1 in 4 teens is in this abusive relationship. I mean, what do you think of when you hear that?
I mean, it makes me really sad. I think like I've been fortunate like in my family to like know that, you know, when I have a problem with something, when I feel like I'm alone, I'm not. I have my family to talk to, and I know I'm fortunate for that. I know not everybody has that. So when I hear stuff like, you know, teens are suffering through stuff like this, I feel like it's just because people aren't paying attention and people aren't talking to each other.
Yeah.
And I would hope that people realize that they're not alone in this, you know, that there are people they can talk to.
How was your dating experience when you were, not you're dating now, although I think you're single.
Yes.
Yay, ladies.
So how was your teen dating experience, I guess?
I didn't really have much of a teen.
No? Stop it. As
was,
cute as you are, stop.
I was a little awkward. I was more one of the girls than I was the girls were interested in me. I just wasn't very confident. So,
Really?
Yeah, I didn't really grow in confidence until I probably got to college.
Oh, wow.
So teen dating really. But in being one of the girls, I did get to hear a lot of their stories, and it was really like, it's kind of hard as a man to hear some of the stories from women about men, and you start to like self-loathe a little bit your own gender.
Yeah.
So it was common. It was common to hear just like really, really awful stories, and what is even more sad is that it was thought of as like acceptable, or normal, but it's not.
No.
That's just stunning.
Yeah.
That's stunning to me that it's acceptable. You talked about those statistics about, you know, you think of a stranger that is the person that attacks you, but it isn't. Most times, it's someone that you know so well,
Yes.
that you trust.
And it's very subtle in the beginning. It's this lack of respect for your partner, a lack of admiration for your partner, and then that begins to grow from the look in the eye to a push, a shove, a slap, a kick, and then it grows to literally killing somebody.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Wow, that's the real extreme. Can you help them? Can they change?
Abusers?
Can an abuser change?
Absolutely, yes. They can definitely change. I've seen the change. However, it's kind of like when somebody is an addict. You really can't help them unless they want to help themselves. And there requires a lot of intense one-on-one talk therapy, art therapy, play therapy, support group therapy, and the key is education. Not everybody with low self-esteem is going to be an abuser. Not everybody with low self-esteem is going to be a victim. But really, one of the keys is to not get into an abusive relationship, is having self-worth, you know, and not allowing that individual into your life.
I want to ask another question because people did send in some comments earlier and then some questions. So I want to ask you, this is coming from Chase. Chase asks, is there any excuse for my girlfriend to hit me? What do I do if she slaps me? And again, I want to say that this happens to boys and girls.
It bothers me. Does it bother you?
It does. It does more so. I mean, it's awful. The abuse is awful, but I think it's sad that there's like another standard there where it's like okay to hit a guy if you're a female, and abuse is abuse regardless.
It is.
So
thank you for saying that.
Yeah, I don't agree with it on either end.
I don't agree either. The other day we just watched something on TV in a baseball, football game, I don't know, where a woman was punched by a man. Oh yeah, you guys talked about it on your show.
There was a lot of alcohol involved.
Yeah.
That's not an excuse.
No, absolutely not. You know, my father was a mean drunk. He used to beat my mom to the pulp, but he never beat up the neighbors. He never beat up his boss. So alcohol has nothing to do with it. And for people to say that he shouldn't have punched a girl, absolutely, I agree. But also, she shouldn't have hit him. Boys and men have a more difficult time with dating abuse because they really have no one to tell.
There's really a huge stigma.
Oh, yeah.
And an even bigger one, right?
Oh, yeah, it's huge. And right now, this is groundbreaking to even be talking about domestic violence and dating abuse.
Did you ever date someone who was just, almost abusive to you? Have you ever had that experience?
I generally didn't get into any sort of the physical abuse.
But there's verbal abuse.
There's mental.
The verbal and mental, 100%. That's something that is actually a lot more common when it comes to women abusing men. It tends to be more emotional, and like that stuff. Like your skin will heal, but your brain will remember that for the rest of your life. You know,
the scars are on the inside, right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. What's that? We're gonna try to go into the YouTube live event hangout and see if we could get
Yay.
someone. Oh, I think I can kind of hear you guys. Can you guys hear me?
We have some power.
I want to also go to a quick question here, because on that note, I do want to ask this question from Lupe. That sent us how can I get you to come speak at my school? And I'm not in California, so what other organization can I call to come to our school?
Oh, that's easy. I love it that you're inviting us. Email me, mpresley@laurashouse.org. I'll get you all the information you need.
Because a lot of schools don't have this, and this is why we're so thankful with what Verizon is doing and how you can help by donating your old devices, because all of that goes to programs like Laura's House, the website, and it funds your program.
Yes, it does. It funds our HEART program, which stands for Healthy Emotions and Attitudes in Relationships for Teens. When we go to the high schools, middle schools, we educate, and some of the feedback that I get from the students is, you opened my eyes, or I didn't know that what I was doing was abuse. Or I get people like Kayla who introduce themselves to me after my presentations, tell me their story over and over. So Kayla's story is a story I hear all of the time. The key here, again, is education.
Education.
Yes.
Hey, Carolyn, can you hear me? Because I really do want to just quickly hear your story.
First thing is, I experienced this as a teenager. I was afraid to tell my parents. I was afraid to tell somebody that I was in an abusive relationship. And the first thing is, please tell your parent or tell somebody that you trust that can help you, because you can't do it by yourself. It's too hard to break away. So please tell someone so that they can help you. The second thing is, get safe and make sure that you can call a hotline. But hopefully an adult will help you. The second issue is to the parents. Parents, stop being their friend, be their parent. Control their environment. Control who their friends are. They don't need to be dating until they're 21 and able to have children and family and marriage. It doesn't need to happen in this day and age. And I've come from being in an abusive relationship to now being a parent myself. And the most important thing I can say as a parent is, be a parent. Don't be their friend. They will always love you. They will always be there for you. The most important thing you can do is give them direction and safety and security as a parent.
That is such great advice.
That is such great advice. I had been talking to Ayub earlier about that. He is a survivor himself. He is also a parent himself. And I don't know if we can go to Ayub and just get his thoughts really quick on this, because I know that parents are watching this.
Ayub, go ahead.
Ayub, go ahead.
Well, my main point is, one of the main things whilst going through this was something out.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, these things happen online.
Teenager feels like they deserve the abuse they're getting, then that's terrifying.
It is terrifying.
It is terrifying.
And from the other point of view, as a parent, it's a fine balance between getting to know your kids and parenting them, because what you'll see if a child starts getting into an abusive relationship is a change in behavior. You'll see a change in behavior everywhere. That change in behavior will be at school, at home, everywhere. And as long as you keep an eye out for that change in behavior, then you can ask them about it. You can talk to them about it. That is the most important thing for a parent to do when their kids start dating.
Absolutely great advice.
Absolutely great advice. Ayub, you're so right. Look for that change. Yes. Because that's just a little nugget, and that something else bigger is.
Wow, this has been so powerful. I wish I could talk to the others in the Hangout, but I encourage you to check out their websites. Joanna Hyatt, Ken Beasley, Carolyn, and Ayub. We've just brought in Ken from Verizon, who is here sitting next to us. And Ken, thank you. Thank you so much for having us here at your Verizon store.
My pleasure.
This is your very own personal Verizon store. But no,
I wish.
really, thank you so much, because you do so much for the community and programs like Laura's House. And tell us a little bit about the HopeLine campaign and the HopeLine Drive.
Right. Well, we created HopeLine in 2001, and the idea was really to put our products and our services to work for victims of abuse. Now, the idea behind HopeLine was let's recycle and refurbish phones and accessories. You keep them out of landfills, which helps the environment, and then we can use the proceeds to give grants of cash to organizations like Laura's House and DV agencies. And then we grew HopeLine to include what we called, our HopeLine phone program, where we would donate 911 phones to shelters.
Nice.
So these were, old phones that could dial 911. So if a woman was being stalked or in the middle of the situation, she could call 911 wherever she was at, which was great. And then about 2004, we expanded it further, and HopeLine phones are now prepaid phones, loaded with 3,000 minutes of use. And since 2001, we have collected more than 10 million cell phones, I'm proud to say. And
I know that you guys have old cell phones lying around.
Everyone does.
I do.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take one of these envelopes here, which, by the way, all you have to do is go to the website.
That's right.
If you don't feel like going down to your, Verizon store nearby, you can just go to the website.
Yep.
And what you
It's
just
VerizonWireless.com/HopeLine, and you'll find a link there to print out your own FedEx receipt, postage paid.
Wow.
Just put that on envelope, and you can send it to HopeLine directly.
So nice.
It's free.
It really makes
Yeah.
it easy for you.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's what this envelope looks like.
Yep.
So you just stick it in there.
That's right.
And look at all the good that you would be doing by doing it. You're only not saving the environment,
Yeah.
but you're contributing to programs
Yes.
like Laura's House. If they don't have Laura's House nearby, they can call a national number too, right?
Yes.
Do you happen to know that offhand?
I happen to have it
You do?
right here.
National Domestic Violence Hotline. That's 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-SAFE.
And to make it even easier for Verizon, if you have a Verizon phone, you can dial pound HOPE, pound HOPE,
Oh.
connects you direct to the National Domestic Violence
That's so
Hotline.
You
awesome.
just download the Verizon app.
Yeah, there's also a HopeLine
And-
app in the Google Store, the Apple Store. You get all the same information
Very
and resources.
cool.
And since we're at Verizon, we have some goodies that we're
That
giving
time.
away.
Yeah.
And we're giving away this Kyocera. You know about this phone because this phone is like an
It's
awesome
fancy.
phone.
Yes.
Get it wet, right?
Yes,
You
it
can drop
is waterproof.
Waterproof.
And
Need that.
exactly. Whoa. Say, well, you can
It
drop
still
it
works.
too. Yeah. Drop proof.
Drop through.
Put it through its paces, right?
Because I have a 2-year-old, so
That's
he
right.
spits all over.
So,
Yeah.
you drop it, in the lawn, in the shallow end of the pool. You pull it
It'll
out,
be
it's going to
okay.
work. That's
We also
right.
have a Casio Commando.
Yes. This is
we
built
love.
to military specs.
Wow.
So, if that ends up in your jeans and in the dryer and it comes out, it's going to be fine. It's going to work.
So you guys have to tweet and retweet. Know the signs of domestic abuse. Know the signs of, well, that would work too.
That would work
Know
too.
the signs of dating abuse. Hashtag VZW Hope.
That's right.
Hashtag VZW Hope. And you could win one of these two. And also
right.
we have that, Ken. Maybe you can hold it up.
Here we go.
It's heavy.
It is. It
This is the sound bar, the TV10
That's right.
sound bar. This is all the rage now.
Yep.
Wow.
Very
The
cool.
surround sound, right? We're going to
Nice.
announce the winners
Okay.
on your
Yes.
Twitter account.
Yep.
which
At
is
VZW Ken.
At VZW Ken.
That's right.
Did you get that? At VZW Ken. And of course at Mommy Loves Tech. That's where you can find the answers. This has been really great. And thank you so much.
My pleasure.
For hosting us, of course,
Absolutely.
and for all that you do. Thank you, Ricky. Sup, Ricky? Chris Thompson.
I respond to all of it.
Chris Thompson,
Bob.
you guys. By the way, you were on. You were trying out for something.
I was on an uninhabited island
You
for
were.
2 weeks.
How I feel so sorry for you.
If any
Yeah.
of you need a coconut dehusk, I got you.
So we can find Chris at youtube.com/
Chris Thompson.
Chris Thompson and get serenaded.
Aww.
I listen all the time to your songs. You're amazing.
Beautiful,
you.
beautiful.
Thanks for joining us.
course.
Marissa, thank you.
It was my pleasure.
You are
I love talking about it, so
You're
thanks.
awesome. Well, you are such a huge help.
Thank
and
you.
You talk to schools. You're so passionate
Yes,
about it.
I love it.
And
I can't believe I get paid to do that, so yeah, I'm very happy to
well,
do
you're doing
this.
so much
Thank
good.
you.
So thank you.
My pleasure.
And thank you guys all for watching Mommy Loves Tech and of course this show. We have what? Oh, well we have 5 more minutes. So we talked about the giveaways, right? Oh, the questions, of course. We have some more questions, right? So let's see. Did we go through all of them already though? Or do we have some more? We did this one.
We didn't do Layla.
Oh, we didn't do Layla. Okay, let's do Layla's question because Layla had asked. My boyfriend pushed me down by accident when we were fighting one day. Is that being abusive? What should I do?
Yes, it is being abusive.
Hello.
Yes,
It
absolutely.
is.
And what should you do is you should not break up with your boyfriend right now. Before the breakup, the most important thing to do is to formulate a safety plan. Why is safety planning important? Because after a breakup of an abusive relationship, within the first 72 hours of that breakup is when most homicides happen. So if you ever read on the news that somebody was killed by an intimate, they were most likely killed within the first 2 to 3 days of that breakup. So don't break up. Instead, call a hotline,
Yes.
speak to somebody who is safe, then break up, but there's smart breakups. Do not meet with the individual after the breakup. Change your routines. And the most important part is if you believe you're being stalked, you probably are, so we can help you obtain a restraining order against that individual. I think that the best thing that parents and family members can do to help a victim survivor is to create a safe landing space for them, somewhere where that individual can crash, even if it is just for one night, where they can just crash if they do decide to break up. Because what we do as family members is we blame the victim. Well, why do you put up with it?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard some stories where a teen has told her parent,
Yes.
her mom,
Yes.
and she was blamed for it.
Yes.
Don't stop there. Right?
Absolutely. If you're going to
Keep
blame them,
yeah.
then you're doing the same thing that they're abused. If you're going to call them stupid, then you're doing exactly what the abuser did. Let me tell you something. By the time a child, teen, preteen speaks up, they've been in it for months, if not years. So it's time for us to really say,
But
I'm
if
paying
you're-
attention to
If you're
you.
a teen and you get told by parent, you are not in this abusive relationship, or
It's
tries
kid
to put
stuff.
you down, it's kid
Boys
stuff.
will be boys.
Right, so you shouldn't
Man
stop
it
there,
up.
right? You should keep telling someone.
Yes, tell us at Laura's house. Call our hotline.
Call
Yes.
the hotline.
We will, number one, we will believe you.
That's what we want you to do. Really, we want you to not only tweet us, know the signs of teen dating abuse with the hashtag VZWHope. We also want you to go to the website because the website actually outlines what a healthy relationship looks like.
Yes.
So if you're not sure what that is, go on the website. There's actually some really simple tips to look out for, and that will tell you what the red flags are. So
Yes.
go to the website like Laura's house and see for yourself. Okay, you guys? We want you to also hold a donation drive. It's really easy
Yes.
to do that. You can go to Verizon and check out how you can do that. You can donate your old devices that way as well, because there's so benefits programs like these. We really want you to speak up, you guys. We want to raise more awareness for teen dating violence as well as domestic abuse. We want you to spread the word, share the link, subscribe to us, and go to Verizon, go to Laura's house. And I want to thank all of you for coming. I just want to cry when I hear all the stories. You saw the tape. Kayla, thank you so much. You're one of my favorites. I love you. AJ, thank you. You do so much for the community as well. Thank you. Chris, you are so great. I'm sorry you didn't make it on that island show.
It's okay.
But
I got the shower.
Yes, you did. And Marissa, thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you very soon.
Bye, everyone.